End-Screen Noise. My name is Colin Dixon, founder and chief analyst at End-Screen Media, and today is July 27th, 2018. IHS Markit has released new data on the penetration and sales of smart televisions, and what they're saying is that by the end of 2018, on a global basis, 70% of television sales will be smart. Now, this is big growth. They say in 2015 it was 45%, in 2017 it was 64%. So this is big growth in the sale of smart TVs. Now, the most popular operating system running those smart devices, well, it's Android TV, and various versions of Android, particularly in the Chinese market, dominate with about 40% of the market. Samsung with Tizen, 23%. LG with WebOS is 13%, and Roku powers just 6% of those televisions. But remember, this is a worldwide numbers, and Roku really is only for sale in televisions, at least in the US. Now, does this mean that the smart TV is pushing aside the streaming media players? Well, not in the US market, at least if ComScore and Parks data has anything to say about it. ComScore says that about 47% of Wi-Fi households have a streaming media player, and of those 47%, 77% of them are actually in use for streaming video. Smart TVs, on the other hand, are in 10% less households, 37%, and only 70% of them are actually in use. Now, turning to the Parks data, which was just released this week, Parks says that 41% of SMP streaming media player owners use their device on a daily basis, and only 34% of smart TV owners use theirs daily. And they also say that streaming media players are watched for longer. Of those people that prefer to use a streaming media player, they watch for about 10.4 hours per week, and smart TV viewers only watch for about 9.8 hours. So this is very odd, right? Smart TVs are used less frequently, and watched less. Now, this is odd because it should be the easiest way to stream video on a television. It's built right into the TV. You don't have to change inputs. It's just one remote. It surely is the simplest way to stream video to the TV, and yet it's used much less. To understand why, let's turn back to the US market. Now, in the US market, the top three television manufacturers are Samsung, Vizio, and LG. And you'll notice they're all hardware first providers. So their incentive is to sell televisions, not to maintain smart TV interfaces. So what tends to happen is that they neglect anything over 2 years old. It's just not important to them. They don't make any money through the interface, so they really focus on their newer operating system versions. It's also difficult for application providers, the video service providers doing the applications. Well, it's difficult for them too. There are so many platforms they have to support. They are more likely to target the newer versions of the OSs for the simple reason that they have all the cool features, and they want their experience to be as good as possible. So they tend to neglect the older versions as well. So what that means is, if you have a 2-year-old television, a 2-year-old Samsung or LG smart TV, the apps running on that thing are probably pretty old and are probably missing a lot of the cool features like binge viewing, voice search, and integrated search functions that really drive engagement through that device and encourage people to watch more. So I think that's why smart TVs are just not used as much as the streaming media players. But that could be about to change. And the reason is that platform providers like Android TV, Amazon Fire TV, and of course Roku are increasingly driving the smart TVs directly. They all want to be right in that television driving it. And they have lots of incentive to keep all of the apps and the experiences up to date as possible, because they have business models that monetize as many users as possible. More users mean they make more money, so they are going to work harder to keep those older devices up to date with the latest experiences. So, assuming that Roku, Amazon Fire TV and Android TV continue to be successful in taking over running those smart TVs in the market, what we should see is we should see the usage between smart TVs and streaming media players catch up to one another, and maybe even smart TVs will start to have the edge. After all, it is the easiest way to watch, right? And if that happens, we'll be reporting it here on End Screen Noise. We'll see you again next time.